Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So I think what I would really like to know is, how do I focus my desire with my frequency and my vibration and my feelings in order to manifest?
By honing in on this phrase, I'm focusing my feeling more than my thought. Because if what you're going after is a feeling, you're more aware of when you've hit it or not. If you're focusing on a thought, you've had all kinds of thoughts active, wanted and not wanted, and you can't really tell which end is up sometimes. It's like people who are wanting to be more prosperous, and so they think that they're thinking about prosperity. They think they're thinking about lots of money or lots of success or lots of assets or whatever. And they don't realize that when they're thinking about it, they're actually thinking about the absence of it more than about it, because that's just what they've been doing for a long time. But you can't miss the feeling, the difference between disappointment and enthusiasm. So if you decide that you're going to tune yourself to some subject, and you're going to do it by thinking a thought and feeling how it feels, and thinking a thought and feeling how it feels, then you can get there. Here's a good example that will make it easy for you to understand how to do that. We were visiting with a person who had a painful back, and we said to this person, it was a telephone consultation years ago, put yourself in a comfortable place, lie down on something, sofa, floor, bed, and we're just going to ask you a series of questions. So we said, let's breathe together in and out 4 or 5 times, long, slow. And then we said, now, do you feel a little better or a little worse or about the same? And he said, about the same. So we said, well, let's do this again. So we did it again, and he relaxed more. And then we asked the same expected question. Do you feel a little better or a little worse or about the same? And for about the first 10 minutes, he noticed no difference, but it wasn't getting worse. And then when we asked him, he said, I'm sure I'm feeling a little better. I'm sure I'm feeling a little better. And so we stayed with him, only with those words. And in about 35 minutes, we said, how do you feel? He said, I feel a whole lot better. It didn't happen all at once. And it wasn't about thinking thoughts. It was about paying attention to his body. Now, your emotions are paying attention to your body. But our conversation with him was about a nerve that was pinching him, where your attention about some of your emotions may be because someone died, or someone doesn't like you anymore because your boss isn't paying attention to you. But still, if you can isolate the subject and then just feel for an improvement, what happens in a breathing exercise like this, stay with us, this is big, especially in light of the last conversation we just had. Your inner being becomes your thinker as you're breathing. So now your emotions are responding to your inner being's thoughts. Now, what does that mean for you? It's why meditation benefits you. When you quiet your mind, you stop resistance. And when you stop resistance, then you move toward what you're wanting. Your cork floats, so to speak. But most people want to do all the thinking, because you want to be right, and you want to prove yourself, and you want to get the credit for what you've thought of. This conversation, we've never delivered it better. This conversation is about calibrating through feeling rather than trying to think your way into a better feeling thought. Does that make sense to you? You'll get there, because when you stop thinking, your inner being will be dominant, and your inner being will be thinking about your project. Your inner being will be thinking about all the things that you've launched into your vortex, and those thoughts will start streaming to you, and you will find yourself feeling enthusiasm for them. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. And how do I know what vibration or frequency I need to be at?
Doesn't matter. That's like, how do you know when you flip that switch what's actually happening in the electrical grid? Mm-hmm. Who produced it? Where's it coming from? Did it come from solar? Did it come from Ukraine? Where's that juice coming from? Do you really care, or do you just want your lights to come on?
And is there a different frequency or vibration associated with manifesting, say, a relationship or a new car or a new job?
Too subtle to discern in human form, but your inner being knows all those subtleties.
So long as I maintain a high level of vibration and frequency.
You don't even have to maintain it. You just have to hang out there often.
Mm-hmm.
And know the difference and not run down the road that doesn't feel good. You can be across a dinner table from friends and you're all feeling pretty frisky, and then somebody brings something up and you feel the mood shift. What just happened? You calibrated this friend, and none of you are calibrated to your inner beings anymore, and so you are not the group you were just now. Now you have a choice. You can go with the group, you can resent the group, you can resent what just happened, or you can breathe and say, do I feel a little better or a little worse or about the same? You can breathe yourself back into alignment every time, no matter what. We used to use the word momentum a lot because when you focus on something, say this better, when you achieve a vibrational frequency because of what you focused upon, or when you achieve a vibrational frequency because you're not thinking about anything and your inner being is, and now you're not in the way, so that's your frequency. Did you hear that? We're going to say it again. When you achieve a vibrational frequency because you deliberately focused upon the uplifting thoughts, you feel good. Or when you achieve a higher frequency because you quieted your mind, and in the absence of resistance, you automatically rose to the frequency of your inner being, who is always thinking that uplifting thought. When you do that, you get so you can feel the feeling of that. You get so that you recognize that feeling. But whether you recognize it right now or not, when you hold a thought for as little as 17 seconds, it's a little less than that these days, without any resistance, another thought like it joins it. The law of attraction just insists on that. And you don't have to get very much over a minute of no resistance before you've got momentum. And that momentum then is discernible. You actually know you feel better. And so it's about being sensitive to the way you feel. People often said to us when they first began to meditate, Abraham, is it normal for all hell to break loose in my life when I start meditating? We say yes, because you're becoming more sensitive. When you meditate, your vibration is rising. And then if you stumble across or hear or focus on the television or something, or remember something that's a lower frequency, you feel it and you don't feel so good. So what we're asking of you is that you care about how you feel and that you pay attention to how you feel. And at first, it's kind of hard to tell. You just get better and better and better at noticing how you feel. And then your friends say to you, ooh, you're getting really sensitive these days. And you say, yes, I am. I'm getting very discerning these days. But I'm not asking you to do something different. These are requests that I'm making of myself. So if you hold a thought for 17 seconds, another thought will join it. And while that is definitely momentum, we're calling it trending these days. Trending. Because that's a thought that you recognize out there in your social world. Trending. When something trends, it means it's being given a lot of attention. So you just want to trend personally toward good feeling things. And before you know it, you see, this is something that you all don't know, that we know, that we want so much for you to know. So listen up here. You have been living your life and you've created an incredible trend in your vortex. And it doesn't take very much letting go of your problems and issues and beating the drum of wanting to make the world a better place by wrestling somebody to the ground and killing them. It doesn't take very much of letting go before you more and more frequently join that trend. And then you begin believing. You begin believing in the law of attraction. You begin believing in your own goodness, in your own deservability for things to go well. You know what teaches you worthiness more than every word in the world that we or someone like us might offer to you? It's your own success at letting the good stuff in. That's when you start feeling worthy, is when good stuff is allowed by you. And the thing that is so interesting, it can only ever be disallowed by you, but you don't want to call it worthiness then, because you think someone else is calling the shots about whether you're worthy or not, when it is you 100% of the time, all the time, every time. You're either letting it in or you're not. And so the more you let it in, the more you will begin saying things like, hey, I got this, I can do this. Or Esther will say to herself, just relax, just relax. She'll find herself in a new situation. The other day she was in a new city, in a rented car she hadn't driven before, in an environment she didn't recognize, with a navigational system that was non-existent. And for a moment she felt insecure. Ick. She thought, what is this feeling? Am I dying? It felt bad. And then she just said to herself, just chill. You always figure it out. There's nothing serious going on here. There's no big deal. She just walked herself back into alignment because she cared about how she felt. So in that situation, she recognized the feeling of insecurity before there was something on her mind that she was trying. She wasn't thinking, oh wait, I don't know where I'm going. Oh wait, I've never been to this place before. Oh wait, I've never driven this car. She didn't have any of those thoughts. Her first awareness was that she felt insecure. So what did she do? She worked to alleviate her insecurity by reminding herself that she's awesome. She can figure anything out. She said to herself something that Jerry told her years ago: you've never been so lost that you're still there. What do you think? You're going to get lost and never turn up again?
I think that, if anything, that I find myself very often putting myself in very good feeling vibrationally, and not worrying about my future or worrying about things that have happened in the past. I think that, I'm trying I guess I'm just really intent on trying to make my present moment the best moment all the time.
Well, you said the operative words, because calibrating to your inner being, who is always doing exactly that, makes that happen. But your inner being is happy in this moment because of everything now and coming. Your inner being is celebrating what you're on your way to, as well as what's already here. Pretty nice, yeah?
Yes, absolutely.
Enough?
Yes, thank
Really
you so
good.
much.
Really good. Really good. Really good conversation. Second row.